let us continue preparation of alkyl halides. In this, we will take HCl. That HCl is undergoing dissociation to give H plus and Cl minus. HCl is an acid, its a conjugate basis Cl minus. Then we will take HBr. HBr is dissociating to give H plus and Br minus. HBr is an acid, Br minus is conjugate base. Set. Now we will compare acidic strength of HCl and HBr. Acidic strength, how it is there means, acidic strength, how it is there means HCl less than HBr. Set. How the basic strength will be there, that will say. Basic strength of Cl minus and Br minus will see. Acidic strength is high means basic strength will be low. So HBr acidic strength is higher than HCl. Therefore, Br minus basic strength will be lower than Cl minus. So Br minus basic strength is less when compared to Cl minus, you can say. So how the acidic strength and how the basic strength is there, that we got idea. Okay, now we will see. Now we will take a isopropyl alcohol. We will take. We are taking isopropyl alcohol. This we will treat with HCl. In the presence of anhydrous ZnCl2, what is the compound we will get? We are getting one compound called CH3, CHCl, CH3. It is one compound we are getting. So how we are getting this compound? That we'll see. This alcohol first goes for protonation. This alcohol first goes for protonation. Therefore, we are getting a CH3. Here oxonium ion we are getting. Next step, what happens means Cl minus. The Cl minus is attacking. The Cl minus is attacking this carbon. Therefore, this water is leaving, so that we got this product. Okay. Now we can say that this OH is replaced by this Cl. Therefore, it is called a substitution product. This we can call substitution product. So, what is another possibility that we'll see? Now we'll see another possibility. Now, this Cl minus is subtracting proton, that is acting as a base. While this bond is shifting, this bond is shifting. Therefore, we are getting a CH3, CH double bond CH2. So here you see, this is the reactant. In this reactant, left side CH3 is there. In this product also, left side CH3 is there. At center, CH is present in the reactant. In the product center also, CH is present. Here OH is present at second carbon. Here OH is not present. This is single bond, but here double bond. This is CH3, but here CH2. That means what is removed from here such that we got? That means one hydrogen and one OH group. Therefore, if you remove water in this one, you will get this. So removal of water from here gives this one. That means removal of water from here gives this one, means this is called elimination. Therefore, we can call this is as a elimination product we can call. Therefore, this on reaction with HCl as well as anhydrous zinc chloride, we are getting substitution product as well as elimination product. Sir, if Cl minus, if this Cl minus abstracting this proton, then we will get elimination product. If this Cl minus attacking this carbon, then we will get substitution product. So for HCl case, For HCl case, what is dominating means the substitution product is dominating but not elimination. That means Cl minus is ready to attack this carbon, but not abstracting proton. So what is dominant nature in the sense Cl minus is having higher tendency to attack this carbon rather than abstracting proton. Therefore, we are getting substitution product but not elimination product. So, even for tertiary alcohol gives a substitution product. Okay. So, now we will take a HBr case. Now we'll take CH3, CHOH, CH3. It is going for protonation. So we are getting CH3, CH, this is oxonium ion. It is CH3. Okay. Now Br minus comes for attack. Br minus comes for attack. In Br minus, Br is having 4 lone pairs. Okay. It is coming for attack. If it is attacking this carbon, this bond will migrate. Therefore, we will get CH3, CHBr, CH3. So, we are getting substitution product. Suppose suppose this Br minus is abstracting this proton, then this bond will come here, this bond will shift. Therefore, we will get elimination product. We will get what in the sense elimination product. We are getting elimination product. So now, if Br minus is acting as a base, then elimination product. If Br minus acting as a nucleophile, then we will get substitution product. For HBr case, elimination product we are getting. We are not getting substitution product if we take secondary alcohol. Tertiary alcohol if we take HBr in the sense elimination product we are getting. So now secondary alcohol, it is secondary alcohol. HCl if we take substitution product. Secondary alcohol, HBr if we take elimination product. So that means this Br minus is ready to abstract proton rather than attacking this electrophilic center. In this case, this Cl minus is ready to abstract proton rather than attack this electrophilic center. Sorry. Cl minus is not ready to abstract proton, but Br minus is ready to abstract proton. Sorry. Basic strength we will see. Basic strength if you see, Br minus, Cl minus is having higher than Br minus. So Cl minus has higher tendency to abstract proton than Br minus. But how experiment says HCl gives substitution product, whereas HBr gives elimination product. Therefore, we cannot use basic strength point. Now we can say Cl minus is ready to attack this electrophilic center, whereas Br minus is not ready to attack the electrophilic center. So we are not getting here substitution product, whereas here we are getting substitution product. That means Cl minus size is small, whereas Br minus size is high. So when it is going for electrophilic attack, when it is going to attack this electrophilic center, it is getting higher steric hindrance. Therefore, it is abstracting proton and giving elimination product. Whereas in this case, Cl minus size is less, so it is getting less steric hindrance. Therefore, it is attacking electrophilic center of this carbon rather than abstracting proton. Therefore, it is giving substitution product. Said okay. So, what is the conclusion that we will see? Conclusive point will take, alcohol will take with HCl gas, anhydrous zinc chloride. Primary alcohol gives what product in the sense? Substitution product. Secondary alcohol gives substitution product. Tertiary alcohol means anhydrous zinc chloride not required. Substitution product it gives. Sir. Next, alcohol, concentrated HBr. Concentrated HBr. This concentrated HBr concentration is 48%. Now, primary alcohol, if we take, we are getting substitution product. That means bromide we are getting. Secondary and tertiary alcohols give elimination product. Therefore, we cannot prepare substitution product here. Next, we will see alcohol with a concentrated HI. Concentrated HI percentage is 57%. We can take concentrated HI, otherwise we can take mixture of potassium iodide and 95% H3PO4 we can take. We can take like this also. Potassium iodide with 95% H3PO4 we can take. So here what happens means primary alcohol gives a substitution product. Secondary and tertiary alcohol gives elimination product. Okay. So we have to remember this. Okay. So alcohol with halogen acid, we are getting halide. Overall, if you see, primary alcohol can be converted into halide with HCl, HBr, HI. Sorry. We will go for next. Now, we are treating alcohol. We are treating alcohol with a phosphorus trihalide. Phosphorus trihalide or phosphorus pentahalide. We will get a halide, we will get. So how this halide will be there, that we will see. Now we will take alcohol. This alcohol I will take. This alcohol I have taken. It is treated with the PCl3. So what we are getting in the sense CH3, CH2Cl, ethyl chloride and H3PO3 we are getting. Orthophosphorus acid. So for balancing we are doing like this. So alcohol with PCl3 gives, this alcohol is converting into chloride, PCl3 is converting into H3PO3. Then we will take alcohol with PCl5 we will take. What is the product we will see. So we have taken alcohol here. This PCl5 will divide here 1 Cl, here 1 Cl, here PCl3 will give. So this is ethyl chloride. Now this is what in the sense POCl3, phosphorus oxytrichloride. This is what in the sense HCl. So therefore with the PCl3 and PCl5 we are getting chloride as a product. So next with the PBr3, what is the product that we'll see. So similarly with PBr3 and PI3. So if we take PCl3 we are getting chloride. If we take PBr3 we will get bromide. If we take PI3 we will get iodide. Sorry. But what is here? PCl3 we can take directly. But PBr3 we cannot take directly. PBr3 we have to produce in situ. In situ means during reaction only we have to prepare PBr3. During reaction PBr3 should be produced. We should not add PBr3. Sorry, for that case what we have to do means we are taking red phosphorus and bromine. They are reacting to give what in the sense PBr3. Sorry. So how to do this reaction? So which alcohol you want to convert into bromide, take that alcohol. To this you add red phosphorus and bromine. Don't add PBr3. Take ethyl alcohol, add red phosphorus and bromine. What you will get in the sense ethyl bromide you will get. You will get ethyl bromide you will get. And H3PO3 you will get. So what happens here? What happens here in the sense this P4 reacting with the bromine. This P4 reacting with the bromine to give what in the sense PBr3. PBr3. This PBr3 reacting with this ethyl alcohol to give ethyl bromide. To give ethyl bromide and H3PO3. Sir. Why we are adding red phosphorus and bromine instead of adding PbR3? Because PbR3 is relatively unstable. We cannot store it for long time. Therefore, we are not preparing PbR3 and storing. Whenever we want PbR3, what we are doing means we are taking P4 red phosphorus and bromine while they react to give PbR3. Okay, so PbR3 we cannot add. PbR3 we cannot store because it is unstable. Therefore, whenever you need PbR3, at that time you do one thing, mix P4 and Br2, you will get PbR3. So that to convert ethyl alcohol into ethyl bromide, what we are doing means we are taking ethyl alcohol, to this we are adding red phosphorus and bromine. Then red phosphorus reacting with bromine to give PbR3, which react with ethanol to give ethyl bromide. In the same way, PI3. So PI3 also relatively unstable, so we cannot store it for longer time. So what we have to do in the sense, PI3 we will not add. Instead of that, we will add red phosphorus and iodine. We will add. So then in this method, we are converting alcohol into halide by adding phosphorus halides. In the previous case, we have converted alcohol into halide by adding halogen acid. What is the difference between this and this? Is there any advantage or disadvantage? In the sense, here secondary and tertiary alcohols undergo dehydration, therefore elimination product we are getting. Whereas in this case, there is no chance for elimination. Therefore, it is better than halogen acid method. So, then in this case, with the mechanism says, what is the mechanism that we'll see? In this case, the mechanism we will see. So, what is the mechanism? That point we will see. Now I will take a so and so compound I will take. So and so compound. This I will take for halogen acid treatment. First it is reacting with H plus. Therefore, you will get a oxonium ion. Then this bond shift. So water is eliminating. So we are getting like this. This is called primary carbocation. Then this primary carbocation undergoes rearrangement. That means this H takes this bond and shift like this. Therefore, what we can say means hydride shift. We can say hydride shift takes place. Due to hydride shift, what we are getting in the sense, we are getting like this. Tertiary carbocation we are getting. Tertiary carbocation is more stable than primary carbocation. Then if halogen is attacking, you will get here Cl. If elimination is possible, you will get double bond here. Okay. Therefore, in this case, what possibility is there means rearrangement is possible. In the halogen acid case, rearrangement is possible, but in the phosphorus halide case, rearrangement not possible. Okay. So there is some difference between halogen acid treatment and phosphorus halides treatment. Okay. In the phosphorus halide treatment, elimination not possible, but in halogen acid treatment, elimination possible. In this phosphorus halides case, rearrangement not possible, but in halogen acid case, rearrangement is possible. Sir, we'll go to next. Alcohol treating with thionyl chloride. Alcohol treating with thionyl chloride, we will get chloride. Okay. We will take example. Ethanol CH3, CH2, OH ethanol will take. We will treat this with SOCl2. Here, pyridine base is taken, and the system is a reflux. This alcoholic part will take, Thionyl chloride is reacting with this here 1 chlorine, here 1 chlorine, here SO. Therefore, this is becoming Cl. So we will get CH3, CH2, Cl. Then it is what in the sense SO2. This is what in the sense HCl. HCl is vapor which goes away. SO2 is vapor which goes away. So we got chloride. So in this method, we are getting this chloride in a purified form, highly purified form when compared to halogen acid method or phosphorus halide method. Why? Because in this method, these are gases which goes away, only chloride will be there. Whereas in this method, these are not gases. This is not gas. Therefore, it is not highly pure form. Okay. In this method, in this alcohol method, what is eliminated in the sense water also eliminated, water also produced. This water is a liquid state, isn't it? If this water is a liquid state, that means it is mixing with water, that's all. But what is the thing in the sense substitution, elimination, both are mixed here. So substitution, elimination, both are mixed, that is a disadvantage. Here, what is a disadvantage means POCl3 and HCl are not gases here. But in this case, SO2 and HCl are in gaseous state because on reflection they are going away. So we are getting this halide in the purified form. So that means this method is much better when compared to halogen acid method and phosphorus halide method. So to convert alcohol to halide, into halide, what are the reagents we can use? First reagent, halogen acid with anhydrous zinc chloride. Second reagent is phosphorus halide, PX3 or PX5. Third method, thionyl chloride. So to convert alcohol into halide, we can use HX, we can use, or phosphorus halide we can use, or thionyl chloride we can use. Sir. Now, this method is not used for this conversion. This is phenol into aryl halide. It is called what in the sense aryl halide. So phenol into aryl halide by this method is not possible. By this method we cannot convert phenol into aryl halide. But by this method we can convert alcohol into halide. Phenol we cannot convert. Why is it so? What is the reason? Why we cannot convert phenol? Because of a resonance effect. This oxygen shows a resonance. Due to that resonance, here this bond is having partial double bond. Partial double bond will be there. Because of partial double bond nature, this bond is not breaking under this condition. Therefore, we cannot convert phenol into aryl halide. So we cannot use these reagents to convert phenol into aryl halide. Sir. Next. Next method we will see. Alkanes into alkyl halide. Alkanes into halides, that we'll see. Now I will take methane. This methane is treated with chlorine. In the presence of sunlight, I will get methyl chloride. It is called free radical substitution. Again, it is treated with chlorine and sunlight. We are getting methylene chloride. Again, it is treated with chlorine and sunlight. We are getting chloroform. Again, on treating with chlorine and sunlight, we are getting carbon tetrachloride. So, methane on chlorination. What are the products you will get in the sense? Methyl chloride, methylene chloride, then chloroform, then carbon tetrachloride. Like these products possible. If methane is excess, methyl chloride is major. If Cl2 is excess, CCl4 is the major. So anyhow, methane on chlorination, we are getting mixture of products. If we want monochlorination, if you want to convert methane into methyl chloride, if you want to convert methane into methyl chloride, what you have to do means you have to take methane excess then we get methane into methyl chloride. That means monochlorination is possible. Sir. So we said monochlorination here. Next we'll see, we'll take ethane. This ethane on monochlorination gives ethyl chloride as a product. This ethane on monochlorination gives ethyl chloride as a product. Next, we'll take propane. We are taking propane. This propane on monochlorination gives N-propyl chloride, then isopropyl chloride. Isopropyl chloride. Okay, this propane on monochlorination gives N-propyl chloride or isopropyl chloride. This N-propyl chloride is available to 45% extent. This isopropyl chloride is available to 55% extent. Sir. So why this propane on monochlorination gives two different products? Propane on monochlorination gives two different products. Why we are getting two different products? That means if chlorine is attacking this primary carbon, this primary hydrogen, if chlorine is attacking primary hydrogen, then we will get this chloride. If chlorine is attacking the secondary hydrogen, then we will get this chloride. What is the probability? Probability to get this and probability to get this, we'll see. Here, primary hydrogens, how many primary hydrogens possible in propane? In the sense, 6 primary hydrogens possible. 6 primary hydrogens possible. 6 primary hydrogens possible. But secondary hydrogens only 2. Secondary hydrogens only 2. So, as per probability, chlorine is having higher probability of attacking primary hydrogen rather than secondary hydrogen. As per this probability, this N-propyl chloride percentage should be high when compared to secondary chloride. So, as per this probability, that means primary hydrogens 6 available, secondary hydrogens 2 available. Therefore, this chlorine is having higher probability to attack primary hydrogen rather than secondary hydrogen. Therefore, N-propyl chloride percentage is greater than isopropyl chloride. Okay. Next we'll see. Secondary hydrogen is more reactive than primary hydrogen. Secondary hydrogen is more reactive than primary hydrogen. As per this, isopropyl chloride is having more, isopropyl chloride is more produced than N-propyl chloride. But how the experimental result is there, you see. N-propyl chloride is 45%, isopropyl chloride is 55%. That means the result indicates that the dominant factor is this probability, otherwise this reactivity, or both. That means the result indicates that both are playing a role. This probability is playing a role, this reactivity playing a role. Both are playing a role regarding this. Okay. So N-propane on monochlorination gives how many products? In the sense 2 products we can say. Next, we'll take N-butane. N-butane on monochlorination. N-butane on monochlorination gives how many monochlorinated products? How many? It is going for monochlorination. Therefore, how many products we will get? That we'll see. So this on monochlorination gives one product, this one. Then another product is this one. So 2 products possible. Now we will take this one like this. Like this we will take. Isobutane. This is called isobutane. How many products we will get? One is primary hydrogen, there chlorine. Another one is tertiary hydrogen, there chlorine. Therefore, 2 products we can get. So alkanes undergoing monochlorination in the sense mixture of products we are getting, we have to separate them by what in the sense fractional distillation. So separation also there in this case. Okay. Next, we will take this propene. It is taken for chlorination at what temperature means 500 to 600 degrees Celsius. So what is the product we will get? What is the product we will get? Will you get like this, or will you get like this? Which product possible? Or will you get like this? Like this, which product possible for this? Propene is going for chlorination. That means propene is heated with chlorine at 500 to 600 degrees Celsius. What is the product possible in this case? Sir. Now, what is the mechanism involved here? That we'll see. Here, the contents are heated. Therefore, what happens means first chlorine undergoes dissociation. This chlorine undergoes dissociation. Due to dissociation, this chlorine gives free radical. So, what is produced in the sense chlorine free radical is produced. Chlorine free radical is produced. This chlorine free radical is attacking this cell. So now we will take CH2 double bond CH, CH3. CH3 will take here one electron, here one electron. Now Cl dot comes. This Cl dot comes. If Cl dot takes H plus H dot like this, HCl will be removed. Then we will get CH2 double bond CH, CH2 dot. That means propyl free radical. That means propenyl free radical we got. Then this will go for resonance. This will go for resonance. How? In the sense this bond in the sense this here two electrons are there. This electron and this electron making pi bond here. This electron is separate with this carbon. Therefore, CH2 dot single bond CH double bond CH2. Resonance is possible for this free radical. This free radical undergoes resonance. Sir, what is another possibility that we will see? We'll go for another possibility. That means this is having two dots. This H dot is taking this HCl and becomes HCl. Therefore, we will get a CH2 double bond C dot CH3. For this resonance mostly not possible. Sir. So next point we will see. We are going for next point. This dot. It is dissociating. Taking Cl dot. So HCl will be removed. So we will get a CH dot double bond CH CH3. This dot, this free radical is not going for resonance. So that means which free radical is having higher stability means this free radical is having higher stability. Then Cl dot is attacking this. Cl dot is attacking this in the sense you will get this product. You will get this product. Okay. Therefore, in this case, when propene treated with chlorine at this temperature, what happens means chlorine undergoes free radical, converting into free radical. Therefore, here intermediate is what means free radical is the intermediate. So, what is the major product we are getting means this is the major product, but not this. So, in this major product, you see here three hydrogens, but here two hydrogens. So, one hydrogen is replaced by chlorine. Therefore, this reaction is called a substitution reaction. So, it is called what in the sense free radical substitution reaction. So, understand that this carbon is this carbon directly attached to double bonded carbon. Therefore, this carbon is allylic carbon. This allylic carbon is going for a substitution. Allylic carbon goes for substitution when it is treated with chlorine at 500 to 600 degrees Celsius. So this allylic carbon is undergoing substitution rather than this double bonded carbons. Okay. Therefore, now what is the name of this one in the sense it is called allyl chloride. It is called allyl chloride. At allylic carbon, chlorine is there. Therefore, it is called allyl chloride. Sir. So how to get allyl chloride, that we got idea. Sir. Next we will see. Next we will take toluene. We will take. We are taking toluene. It is treated with what in the sense of bromine in the presence of light, undergoing taking for reflux in the sense it is heated. So what is the product we will get here? That we will see. If this hydrogen, now we will see the mechanism, we will see. Now we will take bromine. Bromine we are taking, due to light this bond is breaking, therefore we are getting a bromine free radical. We are getting bromine free radical. We are getting this bromine free radical is attacking toluene. So toluene we are taking, it is CH3. Here phenyl ring is there. Now what happens means here this dot is there, it is breaking. Okay, this Br dot takes H dot and becomes HBr. Therefore we got a CH2 dot. Here pi bonds will be there like this. This CH2 dot is called benzyl free radical. It is called what in the sense benzyl free radical, we can say. It is undergoing what in the sense resonance. That means this bond is breaking, this dot and this dot making a bond. So CH2 double bond, here pi bonds, here dot, free radical. Like this resonance is possible. Sir. So then because of this resonance, this toluene is converting into benzyl free radical. Then bromine is attacking this. If bromine is attacking this, we will get CH2Br. Okay, we are getting a benzyl bromide is the product. Benzyl bromide is the product. Sir. Now, if this Br dot attacking phenylic hydrogen, what will happen? That we'll see. Phenylic hydrogen. Here we will give pi bonds, here carbon with the hydrogen. Here this bond is having 2 electrons, Br dot is attacking this. So this bond is breaking. So what we are getting in the sense CH3. Here we will give pi bonds. Here dot we will give. It is not going for resonance. No resonance for this. Therefore, this free radical is not formed, but this free radical is formed. Therefore, this is a product, but not this product. Here this CH3. Here Br. This product not possible, but this product is possible. Therefore, this product is possible, it is not possible. So here this side chain is undergoes bromination but not phenyl. Therefore, it is called a free radical substitution. Side chain and is undergoing bromination. Phenyl is not undergoing bromination. Okay. So we are getting here what in the sense benzyl bromide we are getting. We are getting a benzyl bromide. We got benzyl bromide in this case. Okay. Sir. So how bromination is occurring here, that we got idea. Sir. Next, we will go for a fluorination. Now we will take what in the sense methane will take. This we will treat with the fluorine. What we will get in the sense carbon and HF we will get. We cannot get a methyl fluoride, we cannot get, because fluorine is highly reactive. So that we cannot get methyl fluoride. So we cannot take alkane for fluorination. So taking alkane for fluorination is not possible. So fluorination we cannot do it, sir. So from alkanes, from alkane part, how to get, that means alkane part, how to go for halogenation, that we have seen. Then alkenes can go for halogenation, that is as per Markovnikov's and anti-Markovnikov's rule. Sir. Next, how to get fluorocompounds. How to get fluorocompounds? Then that point we'll see. How to get